I gave what they asked. Mother of Flies is a Shudder original written and directed by the Addams Family. That's right, Gomez, Morticia, Wednesday, Pugsley, Uncle Fester, Thing, even Lurch decided to participate in this film. Of course, I'm not referring to that Addams Family because they had 2Ds, not 3D. This is the Addams Family with 1D. One to the sky. So anyway, the Addams Family, if you're unfamiliar with their filmmaking, they are a family of, well, filmmakers. Because as father, mother, as well as 2 daughters, they decided, hey, we like making movies. We understand how to make movies, so let's make some independent, not really micro-budget horror movies, but modest-budgeted horror movies. And we see basically them team up again to present this folklore horror film where daughter Zelda, who plays Mickey, basically has an illness. She goes into the woods in search of a witch that could possibly cure her, but that cure could come with a price. And her father, played by her father, Jake, not Big Jake, the Big Belly. I'm sorry, I'm going to make some jokes here because that's just how I am. Not making jokes about the movie, just making jokes because I have so much brain rot when it comes to MST3K and riff tracks and other pop culture stuff that I have to. They basically find out that there's a lot more going on here than they could have ever possibly imagined. So, standard story, but for those that like the style that the Addams Family presents, you may end up enjoying this. I have seen a couple of their films, Hellbender being the better of the 2 that I've seen. Hellbender actually was a big old surprise. Saw that back in, I believe, 2022. And then they did Hell Hole. It's like, Blackula, Blackenstein, the Blunch Black, a Blocher Blom. But in all seriousness, Hellhole was a bit of a step down, not as far as production, but just as far as tone. Hellbender, however, was pretty goddamn good. And this falls just below Hellbender, but just above Hellhole in my personal opinion. I still need to see a couple of their other features, but I like what they do because they aren't doing it for ego. They aren't doing it because they feel that only they can present a film this way. They're doing it because they have the passion for it, and I admire that. I respect that. So it is on Shudder if you want to check it out, but I'm going to get into spoilers right now. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. There you go. So we basically see a bit of the mother, Toby, who plays Solveig, and she is a witch that has a bit of a past that is actually pretty obvious from the beginning, but it takes a bit until we get an exposition dump, literally, like, just plopped out there on the goddamn desk. But she's doing a narration. Life is rhythm. The heart is a dream. The woods, gooey. It's always interesting when people decide to cover themselves in blood and decide to do back shots in the woods, so I'll give them credit. It's always nice when you can get back shots done in the woods. I'm going to keep saying back shots until you get uncomfortable about this, viewers. And we see Mickey playing a piano. She talks to a fellow student, seemingly an 18th century mansion, before she goes away from college and goes with her dad. And they're driving along, and he says, well, it's been tough. You know better than anyone. Ain't no fucking stopping. Ain't no fucking stopping. Ain't no stopping me, nah. Hard to believe Shelton Benjamin's still wrestling to this day. So, yeah, Toby is in the woods. Has her own voice narration and just follows her around and everything. That's got to be frustrating when you're trying to sleep and your own audio track just will not shut off. Mickey apparently had insurance issues. The dad covered this stuff. I hope this isn't true to life and that this feels a little personal, so I actually hope that this isn't like a true to life thing where the family has suffered hardships. But they've got talent. They've got talent as filmmakers, I'll say that. And it's done with good intentions. So at one point, in a hotel room, for some reason, Mickey sees a ceiling vulva for odd reasons that become clear. And the idea is this witch is doing this for free, but nothing is free. The dad is right. And there's this song, I think the music's done by this group that's called Hellbender, which I actually think is family related. But where did they find this house? Like, genuine question. I'm talking about the filmmakers. Where did they find this house? Rustic. Cool. Probably not the best in the winter. But the mother does realize, this won't be easy. Well, it never has been, but she's a tough kid. I'm speaking of you, because she knows this isn't going to be easy. There are dark intentions, by the way. It's pretty obvious with that. And then we see flashbacks of how Solveig used to do this stuff because she's a witch, so she's lived a long time. It's clearly not because she's dead. The rock pile doesn't indicate that at all. Why would you think that, viewer? Why would you ever think that? Yeah, the rock pile obviously comes into play a little bit later. But at one point, she uses a sharp stick to do a C-section. I, too, like to do that before I was sued for malpractice. Many malpractice suits. My God, so much blood. So, she helped cure this woman. And there was this baby there, and she put the baby in a jug, which every goddamn house should have a baby dropping jug. I don't know what I would have ever done without mine. Can't show it. I haven't cleaned it yet. So, Solveig has never seen the ocean, possibly due to the fact that she has been dead for a number of years. But Mickey says she's seen the Atlantic and the Pacific, and gee, this, gut rot sure is terrific. So, Toby was channeling basically every witch Wiccan cliche here. I'm not knocking, it's just there's only so many different ways you can play a character like that. I did like the dad basically getting upset about some of the stuff. It's a fucking bullshit. I don't know why that line popped me, but I wrote it. I listened to it 3 times because it was hilarious to me. So then there is talk of when Mickey was in hospital, Cindy Lou Duke. Hard to believe Cindy Lou Who from the Jim Carrey Grinch is Taylor Momsen, and look at her now doing this rock group. Pretty reckless. So, nevertheless, Cindy did prayer. That didn't work, but, she lived. Like Mickey lived. So now she wants to believe this can work. And essentially... It's more visual than narrative, at least until we get that stuff plopped down in front of us. We get more flashbacks of giving how Solveig gave what they asked. The rock pile had a baby buried there, sure, why the hell not? It actually is a pseudo-resurrection pile. And we get shots of nature. We get an egg taken from a sneck nest. No step on sneck. And the dad basically gets given like a concoction that's a cure for sadness and depression. Actually, it's to knock him the fuck out so Solveig can do what she wants, but there you go. Big Jake is down. And it actually is kind of funny because my dad's name is Jake, so that's kind of why this popped me a little bit. So, yeah, they're let's just say things really be fucked. At one point, he pukes up a bunch of stuff. He really went for it because he was puking. There was snot flowing. He was doing it. He wasn't going for just typical. Okay, good on him because a lot of people wouldn't do that. And you believe in ritual. I believe in you. You believe in ritual. Mike and the mechanics are not very happy about this. Close to the bone taking. So. They're on like a slab of some variety with weird symbols while the dad's puking his guts out and sees a dead body, by the way, below. So clearly that dead body factors into something. The dead body is Solveig, by the way, just in case you hadn't figured that out. And she is, Solveig's basically telling Mickey Zelda Adams to, hey, sing so the crab will sleep. Sings about Sandman and a bag of dreams. I don't think Sandman ever had a bag of dreams. He had a bunch of beer and cigarettes and caned himself in the head a lot. Different kind of Sandman. If you're not a wrestling fan, you have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. So, she takes the snake egg and does it. I know it's a snake. Forgive me. I'm just meme-oriented. And puts the snake on there and it starts burning. It burns. That probably would burn and the snake probably would come after her. But... Yeah, there we go. So then we get a flashback where basically now Mickey Zelda Adams is having issues. We get another flashback. Solveig had her rock baby. They took the baby and then they burned the baby and then they killed her. At least it seems like they killed her. And this came to Mickey in a dream. Solveig and all this stuff. So At one point, Jake hears some noise after he's sleeping on a not very comfortable bed. I imagine there is a snake right by him, kind of symbolic of the fact that evil is lurking around him. Two drunks show up, and they are just throwing stuff on the rock pile. They aren't around for very long. And then at one point, Solveig lets the snake crawl into her mouth, and then pukes the snake right up into Mickey Zelda Adams' mouth, and there we go. The dad says this has to stop. Probably should have said that well before this pops, but okay. And she tells him to leave, so he does, briefly. Then she's kind of just freaking the fuck out because, well, she probably shouldn't have told her dad to leave, because, yeah, it turns out that her intentions, Solveig's intentions are revealed. That, this shit, was all a ruse. It was all a lie. And then the other daughter, I believe Lulu Adams, who plays Ruthie, the receptionist at this hotel, just plops a bunch of exposition basically saying, oh yeah, that rock pile there, that is to keep Solveig down because they found out she was performing ritualistic stuff, kept somebody's baby, they found out about it, and the villagers killed her. They buried her under the rock pile, so we put more rocks on there to keep her buried so she can't claw her way out. But she clawed her way out. And that is because Mickey Zelda Adams basically came up with or basically has an old soul and resurrected her through her dreams, I guess. Whatever. I mean, at this point, I'm invested, so it doesn't really matter. And the gut rot, the cancer is gone, but something is dug out, and it's a baby. It's the baby that she always wanted, and Solveig's going to keep that baby while Mickey Zelda Adams no longer has cancer. And then we get that, and then they dig up. They're like digging up the pile and trying to dig up the body and stuff like that, mainly to either free her or possibly make sure this never happens again. Oh, and the cancer's gone. So yeah, that is Mother of Flies. We do get a lot of flies during at least part of this movie. Maybe they couldn't get enough shots of flies to basically justify the whole title, but at least it wasn't like the fly. So yeah, it's good. It's not as good as Hellbender. It's better than Hellhole. I would say this gets a B. This gets a B for sure. It's a solid B. It's not like a waffling B. Now I want waffles. So I'm going to go get some goddamn waffles while I'm at it. But that being said, that is Mother of Flies. Certainly not a bad effort from the Addams family with 1D. I look forward to their next project. They have the talent. They have the ingenuity to take typical stories and make them work. So, yeah, B. Agree, disagree, what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland, and until we revisit the Addams Family timeline again, happy trails to you.